All righty, everyone. We are live on our very first ever Fourth Friday Coffee Talk here from Bears of a Certain Age and presented by Bear World Magazine. Welcome, everybody. It is Friday. We're almost in the end of January already, but I'm excited. We're going to be talking to you every fourth Friday, whether you're sipping your morning beverage of choice with us live, or you can catch us recording later. We'll put it up on the website later so you can find it on Spotify and iTunes and all those fun places there. If you don't know me, I'm Scott Fullerton. I am the founder of Left is Great podcast. I'm also the host of Bears of a Certain Age podcast. This is our third season, starting Monday, February 3rd. So I'm very excited about that. So we have a new season starting out that I hope you join in on. And with me today is Richard Jones. He's the founder, one of the founders of Great Jones Media, and of course, the publisher of Bear World Magazine, amongst others. We're going to be here once a month, diving into some honest, heartfelt, and hopefully sometimes funny conversations for all of you gentlemen out there 50 and up in the gay, bear, and chub communities, or of course just our admirers. So you don't have to be 50 and up. So we like the little chasers as well. So come on and join us. Just think of us as a virtual coffee shop, a place to kind of share stories, connect with your community, celebrate our experience. So let's have some fun, fill up that coffee mug with whatever blows your hair back, and let's get into it. John, welcome. John, I said John. Richard, I'm talking your partner there. Richard, welcome, my friend. I can't think of a better person to join me here once a month. Let everyone know a little bit about you.
Well, thank you very much, Scott. First of all, and I don't mind you calling me John because that is my husband. He's the editor of Beowulf magazine. So a little crafty little shout out to him by accident, but I love it.
Just don't call
Um,
you late to dinner, and we're good to go. We're good.
no worries. Exactly. We like our feeds, don't we, us bears? Yeah. I mean, I am the publisher of Beowulf magazine. I'm the original founder and founding editor. We're over 12 years old now, which is just shocking to me. It really is in a way shocking. When I never had a plan for it to go beyond, I don't know, a year, let alone 5 years. I mean, I was hoped it would keep going, but I never had a structured plan. So it's great that we're 12 years old, or over 12 years old. And yeah, we're going strong. I mean, we're very. I mean, we've got a lot coming up. You know, with Beowulf magazine, there's a lot of. Come on, I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the stuff we're doing. But yeah, we're launching our new newsletters. Our first cover of the year just came out with the wonderful Jace Ray, who is the new Mr. Bear South Australia, a trans bear from Australia, who's wonderful. And has a great story. You know, he's an advocate, a fundraiser, counselor. He's a proud representative of the community, of us, along with their partner Theo Brown and Alex Duncan from Boone Captivity Press. And they recently published Oh How We Laughed. So go along to Beowulf Magazine, beowulfmag.com. Go and find out about our new cover star. And we have other stories that are part of the cover as well. We always do about 5 stories. So the lead story is the person on the cover. There you go. And this month, our lead stories are Does Hair Make the Bear? A great article by Jason Arnold, who talks about going through a story of acceptance, getting cancer, losing hair. What does that mean to be a bear? Great article. Richard Cameron with the Bear Hotel over in the UK always has great, wonderful photographs of all kinds of bears, of all different kinds of shapes and sizes, which is always popular. We love that. We're introducing you to the first annual San Juan Bear Weekend in February 6th to 9th. So that's coming up. So all about that. That's going to be on the calendar every year. And if you've not been to Puerto Rico, it's wonderful, and the bears out there are wonderful. It's part of John's family. His father is from Puerto Rico, so we were there a couple of years ago. San Juan is wonderful, wonderful, hot climate, friendly people, great place to go. And then a little fashion story for big boys is a new brand called Fafa Bon, or at least new to me, and they go up to 6XL. So we're very excited about them
Nice.
being part of everything. So yeah, so they're I mean, we have stories every day. So they're the 5 that just launched the cover, and then of course we have different stories every day on Beowulf magazine. So dive in and see what we're up to.
I love that. Well, as a bear of a certain age, I have been following along the journey for quite a while now,
Oh,
back
bless
in
you.
print, and now, of course, we have the everything's digital these days, so it's much easier to follow along for the crowd anymore. I also want to mention that I'm live on Instagram right now at Bear World, just so we can let people know we're here. You can find us
Wonderful.
live on YouTube, and you can find us live on Facebook, and you can join us at the Riverside FM studio if you go to Riverside FM. I put a link in our post there. So eventually, Richard, we'll have you jump on here too, and they can listen to us talk on Instagram as well.
Oh gosh,
So
that
I just want to say hi to everyone. Thanks for joining in. We'll hope you join the feed, and I will talk to you soon. I'm going to get
wonderful.
out of here. But I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun for those that don't know me. I've been doing podcasting now for 10 years. It's our 10-year anniversary. I started July. Thank you. I started in July, right after marriage equality became the law of the land. So, in
Okay.
fact, one of my very first guest, was one of the plaintiffs in the suit. So, it's
Oh,
been a great journey so far. A lot of iterations from my Left of Straight show interviews, which was the first show where I get to talk to great celebrities and personalities from entertainment, foodies, and books and music. And then I've done a lot of different shows over the past. So, Bears of a Certain Age was something my buddy Johnny Sheffield and I from the Queer Centric started back in 2023, just because we wanted to celebrate our community. And it's kind of grown from there. We're in our third season, like I said, starting next month. Johnny's been very busy, so he's not going to be joining me full time, of course. So I'll have some rotating hosts throughout it, but I'm excited to start that up. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And so I thought what would be fun for us as well is to really get that community. I think we're going to talk about a little more how Bear World's changing their community up, going to more of a newsletter and kind of really interacting. We have so much social media junk happening right now between Meta and X owners and things like that that the really landscape's changing. So I thought it would be great for us on Bears of a Certain Age to at least once a month kind of connect with you all. Hopefully you'll join us. You can join us in the chat room. There's a chat live if you have any questions to join us with. And we'd be more than happy to talk to you that way. But I'm really excited. I mean, those stories that you share in Bear World are always exciting to kind of know what's going on. And there's always a bear event going on, which you guys cover so well. I mean, we have in February probably one of the biggest events of the
yes.
year here in the U.S. is going to be the International Bear Convergence in Palm Springs. Have you been to that, John or Richard?
I have. I was at the very first one. I want to say about
Nice.
12 years ago. It's about the same age as us, or a few months younger than the magazine itself. It was one of the very first bear events in the US I ever went to, and it was fantastic. I think I was still living in the UK at the time, so it was flying all the way over to California and stepping off the plane into an airport where I'd come from the miserable February British weather, to step off a plane into an airport that didn't even have a roof. I mean, that alone, I was like, oh my, it doesn't even have a roof, this airport in Palm Springs. So it just felt glamorous from the moment I kind of first arrived, and just being in the warmth, and my first kind of introduction to kind of mid-century modern stuff, and that kind of the architecture, the amount of different kinds of bears. It was really diverse, and it was really great to see that kind of on display. All the different parties and the pool party. It's a pool party every day, if not twice a day. It was brilliant. So I really know the one of the original founders, Nino. We've become kind of friends over the years, and we help promote um, IBC. I think we have been from the beginning. So that's been a great relationship, where we really help promote that event, and we love it. I mean, I wish I could go every year. And Nina will laugh at me because every year in kind of like November, I'm coming in February, and then something will happen and I can't make it. So, and again,
Right.
it has happened this year. We were meant to be in LA for kind of Gray Jones media stuff, and I was like, great, I'll be in LA in February. I'll tack on going to IBC, and then unfortunately, all the stuff that's been happening in LA. Thankfully, I don't know anybody that's had anything too dramatic happen to them. Touch wood so far. But
Right.
it's caused a knock on for everybody. So all the meetings I was going to have in LA have been pushed to March. So I can't go to IBC in Feb and LA in March. I got to wrap it into one trip. So unfortunately, I'm missing it again. But we'll be watching from the sideways. Have you been? Have you got out there?
I have not been to that one. I've been to a couple bear convergences, but I've not been to that one.
Okay.
I've been to mostly local, regional ones. I haven't been to a big international like that. But I am a huge Palm Springs fan, and
Right.
I bring the show every summer
Of course you
when
do.
I
Of
can to
course, yes.
Palm Springs, and I do a month of live shows there for my Left of Straight interviews because all the all the celebrities live there, so it's nice to have a lot more people.
Clever.
Northeast Ohio is not the entertainment hub that people think it is, so it's nice to go to Palm Springs for about a month every year, and I enjoy it so much. We have a great relationship with a lot of the places there. Indulge Resort is so kind to
Yes.
us there.
Yeah, love
Um,
them.
and I went last time, and I'm so mad at myself for not writing it down. But there is a new place because this is a lot of changes for there as well. The barracks, which was so popular there
Yeah.
forever, closed down this past summer while I
Yeah.
was there. I was there
Yeah.
for the very last evening event for the
Oh
barracks.
gosh.
But the tool shed over on Warm Sands there, they have a new little coffee shop down in the corner that's bear owned and operated. They moved there and started this coffee shop,
Oh,
and I
nice.
will have to put the link in when I put the post up
Please
later.
do.
'Cause it's an
That's good stuff.
amazing place to get. It's like open 6 to 2 or something. It has great breakfast and pastries, and oh, absolutely love it. I found it this time. So
We will
Palm Springs is
share
just
that.
so friendly, and the average. Um, I think it's the last time they checked, it's like 67% LGBTQ population in Palm Springs. It
Yeah.
skews a little bit older, even though it has been going a little younger, but it still skews probably 55 and up. And it's just a perfect place for something like a bear jamboree or anything like that, and just to visit for an LGBT trip in general.
Yeah.
So I love
Definitely.
Palm Springs.
But definitely. Yeah, I've been it's been again, I think I've visited overall twice now. I was there for the first IBC, and then we were doing some filming with Jonathan. Actually, we were doing some kind of pilot filming for a project with Jonathan. Feels like several lifetimes ago. Um, but that's when I first met him in the flesh, and we worked on some stuff there, and there was IBC on. So that was nice to be able to. Again, I try and combine my work with trips like that, so that you can get all kinds of things done. But yeah, so I mean, I can't wait to get back. I mean, again, I was this close this year to getting there again. But
Yeah, it's just too much going on this year. Like you
yeah,
said, there was a lot of stuff happening. We have a lot of things going on in 2025, getting ready for a new administration and everything going. And then the fires happened, and
yeah,
since I
yeah,
was there for a month in July, it was a little close. But I definitely want to get to one of the ones there because it is just a great event. So
definitely,
hopefully
definitely.
soon. But there's always a decent. I mean, you guys feature these events all the time. There's always at least, if they're not regional, there's something international. I
Yeah.
mean, how could you go to all these events? I mean, you guys sponsor so many, it's unbelievable.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think back in the early days, people assumed I was at everything because I connect with the photographers and we'd have all the photographs, and I was like, even if I could afford to go, I'd need a time machine as well because sometimes getting from one to the other across the world just would prevent that. I've been really fortunate over the years that we've got locals on the ground that have gone, who've gone to events for us or helped us out internationally, or just people, the organizers, make sure we're in touch with the photographers and send us the photos. And I think that has been a great thing because you see, again, especially in overseas, you see different cultures who are celebrating their bear community, and might look a little bit different to ours. And like the Far East, for instance, they seem less hairy than the American bears, but wonderful that they lean into having a bear culture. Um, Japan as well has a great bear culture. Really, really love writing about Japan, and again, another country I really want to get to. There's just a lot going. We promoted. They had like a whole bear weekend a couple of years back that was kind of tied into a few trips,
You
and it
guys
was
have done so many great. Do you have a favorite location? I mean, you've been to Key West. You have Provincetown. I love that you're doing the Bear Awards out of Provincetown.
we
That's
did
amazing.
we
Do you have
did
a place that you enjoy to go, just to get
oh
away?
gosh. Well, it's difficult. I mean, a lot of the travel I've done over the last 12 years has been associated with the magazine. So it's kind of, there's always been a little bit of a work element. But I think it's hard because I love P Town, obviously Palm Springs. I mean, then they're all different. So it's hard. I would
Right.
never compare them. I'd love to get out to the Far East. I really want to see the bear community in the Far East and in Japan. That's kind of a bucket list. I do. Uh, this is a little bit kind of cheeky, I guess, but I love being in Key West. We don't run many bear events. We've never really. We ended up running Key West Bear Weekend by accident, and then we by accident tagged on another bear event called Woof Week, which we're doing in association with Island House. We kind of collaborated on. like managing event. Like we do Key West Bear Weekend, and Island House is the host of that, but Key West Bear Weekend
Right.
belongs to Bear World Magazine. But for Woof Week, which is coming up in April, please go to woof-week.com and you'll find all the details there. It's a bear weekend with a little bit of difference, really leaning into Key West, leaning into a bit more parties, a little bit sexier than maybe Key West Bear Weekend. If you go to the website, you'll see what I mean. So I have a fun, because we run events there and we really are tied into the community there. Jeff and the team and James at Island House have become really close. That we go a couple of days before the event starts, and sometimes we stay a couple of days after, because we don't live there. So it's hard running an event in a city that you don't live in. But we have been really embraced by so many of the businesses there. The Leather Master there is wonderful. A lot of the restaurants and stuff are great. I can't remember all the names, and otherwise I'd plug them. But I think for that one, I get a bit of a break. I do feel like I'm on vacation as much as it's a work one. So for me, that's a little bit different, because I'm different at that event, because I think when I go to an event as just me, I'm just me. But because we kind of managing Key West Bear Weekend and Wolf Week, I think I have a little bit more swagger, and I end up chatting to so many people that I probably would be too shy to talk to, like, if it wasn't my event. So I really enjoy that there's like I don't know, a little confidence that I get, because I'm, not an arrogance. I hope it's not an arrogance, but a little confidence that, like, this is
I
my
love
event,
that.
and I love looking after you all. And I have, there's that. I'm not talking to you to flirt with you. I'm talking to you because you're at my event. So it kind of, there's that, that gives me a little bit of a thrill, I guess, that I get to talk to people I'd be too shy to otherwise. So, that feeds into it a bit, really.
It's a very different thing. I learned it this summer. I haven't really done events in my 10 years, but I decided this past summer, because of everything going on, I wanted to raise some money for the Pride Center. So I took some of my artists that come on my shows and did a little concert out in Palm Springs. Raised $3,000, but it's a lot different being an event host than going to an event. A lot more. It's like there's too many things you're thinking about to really enjoy yourself as much. But it is a lot of fun to kind of see those things come together and the positive impacts they make after all. So I do enjoy that part. And like I said, 2025 is such an interesting time. I have changed my approach a lot. I mean, last year I did like 12 podcasts that I was editing. This year I'm kind of really streamlining it to 4 days a week, going down to live podcasts, kind of really paying attention to that. And I just think there's a whole kind of shift in the culture, like I talked about earlier. And talk about, you guys are going to do like up to 3 newsletters or something. Talk about your plans.
We've had a few changes. Like, you have to kind of be a bit responsive. You can't kind of stay static. And obviously being, an online magazine, what can you change? And I think really the biggest change can be the content, but obviously we report on the bear community and we kind of follow how that changes. So that's kind of an automatic thing. But I think even prior to the change in administration, we were looking to how to reach bears kind of on a more local level. And we've launched something which we're really proud of, which is called the Bear Guides 2. So we're developing a little mini yellow pages of queer-owned and queer-friendly businesses that are kind of in people's cities. So we've launched a few. We're in Phoenix, Charlotte, Chicago. We've got Dallas coming online soon. I mean, it's live, but we've got to add some more business into it. And really what we're going to be plugging that is how we then promote that to our readers in that town or that region. So we're not just promote, like, if you're in, as you said, like Northeast Ohio, it's great that IBC in California is happening, but you might not be able to get to that. So the goal is that we keep all the international stuff, of course, because that's what's going on, but we can also pinpoint for you, what are the bear events in your area? What are the shops? What are the bakeries? What are the bookshops? You need car insurance. What's the gay-friendly car insurance company near you? So we're building that out to really, I mean, we never planned it. I mean, like many people, just didn't assume we would have this administration. But I think because we now have it and what we're seeing on the ground, it's going to become more and more important for us to put this in front of people where they go, okay, I don't need insurance today, but in 3 months, my hope is, when you need to renew your car insurance, you'll think, oh, they had an insurance company that we know is gay friendly. Rather than shop around and maybe get treated a little bit worse than we used to be, I'm going to go to the one I know is going to welcome us. So that's our goal now. We kind of really pinpointing that, and we'll be promoting that. Once we've got, I think, 10 guides ready, we're going to do a little bit of PR and really kind of sort that out. And it feeds into what we're going to do with our newsletters as well. That the minute we do, we paused a little bit, but we do like a weekly newsletter. So every Friday it'll be a wrap up of the week.
Right.
On cover day, it'll be a cover, on cover week, it would be the cover and the stories, and that would be the newsletter. So great. It's been really, we have really good open rates. We have, 15,000 bears on it every week. And I think with everything as well, we've decided what can we do to pull away from things like Meta? I posted on LinkedIn that last week that we had put our cover out, which you showed earlier, which is great. And our goal always is just to share the cover. Hopefully, our followers see it and come and read it and join the magazine for a bit and read some other articles. Great, typical stuff that we all do. But
Right.
this one seemed to get, and I don't know whether something changed, but we got so much hatred posted on Facebook
Mm,
about that cover, about
yeah.
the cover star, that Robin and I just spent a weekend deleting people, and they're not even our followers. It's not like we've upset our audience, that might have,
Right.
we don't believe in censorship. If we post something and our followers don't like it, we've got to listen to that. That's how you are in publishing. Thankfully, touch wood, we've never really had any problems like that. But this seemed different. This was possibly bots, possibly people who are just looking to cause aggravation, and it costs us a lot of time to deal with that. And we have to monitor it again this weekend. Just to, when we've got some downtime, we can kind of spend an hour deleting people or whatever. And that to me just it's no longer a community. Facebook therefore isn't fostering community; it's fostering hate
Right.
for us. And so we will still be on Facebook for the foreseeable future. We have a lot of our audience there, and the same with X and Twitter and and Instagram. Where our audience is we will find them there. But we're going to encourage our audience actually to sign up for the newsletters, and we're going to do 3 newsletters a week. Seems like a lot, but if you're on Facebook every day, 12 hours a day, we're not bombarding you constantly. You'll be
True.
dipping into media the way we used to. Where I don't know what you were like, but when I was younger, I was living in London. You got a newspaper in the morning on the way to the train. I used to occasionally get one at lunchtime if there was a big news story. I couldn't wait, but typically I'd get one on the way home, and then I'd watch the 9 o'clock news and that bit 3 times a day. I'd check in with what's going on in the world.
Right.
Um, we should, if we can get back to that. So our goal is that it's not like they'll be repeated. It won't be like the same newsletter every day. 3 days a week. It'll
Sure.
be the cover one day. 2 days later, it'll be all the guide newsletters that promote the guides locally, and that's all you'll get. You'll just be promoted your local businesses on that day.
Nice.
Friday will be a wrap up of something. Next week there might be a dedicated newsletter to an advertiser or an event like wrap up or something. So it'll be kind of a replica of what we did on Facebook, say, but into that newsletter that you can read when you're ready. You'll only be sent it once. You won't be bombarded. You'll get all 3 each week, and hope we might lose audience, but I hope we gain some.
Right.
Because I'm not putting we've been having problems with Facebook for a while where they seemingly don't like some content that we think is safe, and they don't tell you what you've done wrong. They just penalize you. So we've been hyper cautious of what we posted on Facebook anyway. And I think it's just becoming, it's not a business tool anymore. It's a business hindrance. And I think we
Right.
as a community have to kind of go, right, okay, if that's not supporting us, and I was never looking to try and put our content in front of people that didn't want to see our content. Like I don't
Sure.
do that. Meta algorithms
Right.
in front of, let's say, straight people who don't want to see my stories. And look, that's fine. If you're not into bears or you're not into, I'm not angry at that. But their anger placed at me shouldn't be at me. It should be angry. Go, oh, excuse me, Meta, but you're putting content in front of me that I don't want to see. But
Right.
Meta's algorithm likes to churn up that anger because it creates something, and I don't begin to understand it. But so for us, it's and I know I'm waffling on a bit here, but I think for us as a community, not just the bears, but as a queer community, we have to start looking after our own. We have to start supporting our own
Right.
queer-owned businesses, queer ally businesses too, who thankfully they're there and have supported us for many years. Highlighting them that there isn't as much hatred out there as we see, and I think it's just very hyper focused. So we feel maybe it's more than it is, but actually switch all the stuff off. Go to your local coffee shop, tune into podcasts like this, and comment and ask questions, and come to Bearworld. Go to the other queer media. I mean, not just us. Let's just. I've never been anti any other queer media. Tap into other queer media, queer businesses, anything, and foster community again. Be that going around your friends. If you don't have a bar or a
Right.
bookshop or a coffee shop, find your friends and get together, and then find other friends in maybe a neighboring town or whatever. support what we can. And I think that's going to be our mantra for now is like get off the socials because they ain't social anymore. Come and interact with us
Yeah.
where you're in control. You can dive into the info when you want. I mean, you come to Bearworld Magazine website whenever you want, look for what you want. We're going to be really, I think we haven't really done it so much, but we might be putting a business, what do you call it? Not a business network, where you can go, right, where, like,
Yeah, of
click,
course. Yeah.
a directory. I couldn't think of the word, a directory. So we think
Right.
about that, and maybe we'll develop more of an app base so that you just get the app and it's local to you and things like that. So there's a lot for us. I think the changes are scary, but switch everything off and only deal with what you need to deal with, and then deal with those problems as they arise. Obviously, join all your groups. Go join. Send money to ACLU. Send money to local. Anything that helps our community, helps our POC communities who are going to be struggling more in this world as well, who suffer more than maybe we do. Um, I think the irony being, what they want to destroy, they'll make strong. We'll because
Right.
it wasn't straight people who started the fight against AIDS. It was us, and then allies
Exactly.
came on board. But and doctors and everything else. So, but we raised the money. Our forefathers, who we stand on shoulders of, raised the money and made the difference. Now that we look at that's not the threat that it was. We can organize.
I love all of that.
I don't. They realize you get a bunch of queer people together and
Right.
organize. We'll sort it. And I think I have been frightened, but I'm also buoyed by what I'm hearing and seeing. And if we fight together, and I didn't really intend to make this all political, but if we fight together, supporting media, supporting our world, buying books from your local bookshop, get rid of Amazon, or as much of Amazon as
Exactly.
you can. I know, I would never say to people like, "No, that's it, you're evil because you use Amazon." I'm sure I'm going to use it again in the future, but I'm going to try really hard not to. But if I want a book, I'm going to find my local bookshop. That's it.
Right.
Get support because it supports somebody. Maybe it supports the queer employees of that bookstore. Everything. So I think that
Right.
if we can all do a little bit more, not a lot, but even a little bit more, will be actually phenomenally life changing and keep us alive while we try and struggle through the next 4 years. So anyway, that's my little.
No, I love all of that. I think it's so important. I mean, growing up when I was first coming out and everything, you had everything was in print, right? You didn't have this digital landscape. So you had
Yeah,
to go to the Damron guide or whatever that
yeah.
had different things that was constantly out of date because you never knew when things really closed down.
I
And
know.
then
It's,
there
yeah,
was a nice glossy mag called The Guide that was
yeah,
part of the US that showed a lot of different places, but we really didn't have anything like that. And I've loved to kind of celebrate through the 10 years that I've been doing this based
yeah.
in Northeast Ohio. Columbus was like the number 4 LGBTQ city in the entire country at one time.
Amazing,
There's a
amazing.
lot of things going on. So you need to have those little hubs. And now I think last year we celebrated 46 different pride festivals in Ohio, believe it or not. Out of
It's
so
amazing.
it's like there's so many things going on. I think we need to have those kind of directories to go there. So I
Yeah,
love that.
and
I think the newsletters are so important. I'm doing the same thing here with bears. I want to create a website as a destination. I'm not as
mhm,
adventurous to be able to do that newsletter and everything, but I do want to have a hub that we can go to, much like Bear World is. That's a little more generic. Excuse me. Have our bear of the month, have some bear necessities that are kind of some fun things, have some different things to go look at. And I think that's the future, getting
yeah,
communities these days. Like you said, going back to what we did best when we organized for ACT UP and we
yeah,
organized for AIDS and we organized so many things.
yeah.
I think we are at a time where we need to show our solidarity more than ever. And when we have these hubs like Bear World, like
Yeah,
hopefully we'll make bears of a certain age be for our demographic,
absolutely,
I just
absolutely.
think it's such an important thing, right?
Totally. And what I would say is, we should be promoting you because some of our audience is shared. And I
Sure.
think the more we do that too, where, we shouldn't, people like us, and I know that we already believe this because otherwise I wouldn't be
Right.
sitting here today, but we don't see each other as any kind of competition. We're part of a bigger community. And I've been strong in that for a long time. I would, I'm never critical of other magazines. I think there's room for all of us. Every magazine, every website that's aimed at the queer community, or even aimed at the bear community. I mean, I, I think I've dropped the ball on this, but there was a young bear that's reached out to me recently, wanting to create their own zine. And maybe back in the day, I'd have been like, "That's a bit cheeky," but I think, you know what? what I'm going to encourage, what it might do both of us a great deal of good, in some way, because there's
That's
maybe
why I
more.
immediately reached out to you. I mean, you're
Yeah,
one of the first persons I thought. I mean, our communities align, but not only that, our values align. We don't feel the
totally.
competition. People like Matt Scalarud and Pink
Oh,
Media, people that are
completely.
there for the community,
Well,
I absolutely love working with, right? It's
well,
real important to kind of find these like-minded people and to
totally.
create these communities.
Totally. I mean, Matt's been a champion of us for a long time. I mean, and been a great kind of friend and advisor. And it was he told us many years ago we lost the Bevel magazine Facebook got taken down. Oh, it was pre-pandemic.
Right.
And we've never paid for anybody. I think we've got like 20,000 people on there now. I think it was 15,000 back then. And we were equally cautious not to try and post anything that would upset anybody back then. But it got taken down one day, and we were like
Yeah.
heartbroken because what did we do wrong?
Sure.
Again, we don't know what we did wrong to this day. I wish they'd communicate with people, but they
Who
don't.
knows, right?
So we talked to Matt, and Matt said, look, and that's when we brought the newsletters back, because I think we paused them, because I think we put our focus on Facebook thinking that was the right thing to do. And Matt said, very cleverly, said, as much as I'm all embedded in all the social media, because that was his expertise, he said,
Right.
talking to your audience directly with your newsletters, nobody can take that away. Your
Sure.
database is yours. Even if you don't want, even if you want to move away from that newsletter system and have a different, you own the people, you download those emails, you own them because they've decided, you know. And I think that's where that kind of has come back into my head now, is that if Meta's going to mess around this much, so the newsletters, and I say this to any business, if they're coming to your website, do something that captures their email, because you can market to them forever until they say,
Sure.
well, market to me, whether you're a kitchen fitting shop, a crockery shop, a cafe, whatever. If someone's coming into your space, get their emails, because you will never have that taken away from you the way Meta could suddenly take that audience away from me again tomorrow. I mean, the weird thing is, a year later, we'd set up the Bearwell Magazine Clubhouse as a kind of, well, we need some presence on Facebook. Let's do that,
Right.
and that's more secure, I think. And everything. Well, I was going in to post something in the Clubhouse one day, maybe 2 years later, and I put Bearworld in, and the Facebook page was there. Again, I was like, what?
Magic.
Mary Celeste, it was exactly they had removed nothing. It just popped back up
Wow.
as it was that day. They took it down, and so it's always been the back of our minds that can be taken away at any minute. And I think that's what's been driving our newsletters over the last so many years. And I think we're just going to structure it a little bit better, a little bit more concise, and really
Yeah,
use
the
the model
randomness is
our
what
energy.
scares you. You never know what's going on, right? I
That's
agree.
it. Who knows what happens tomorrow? Who knows? Some law gets passed, some freaking executive action, and I don't know. So we have to be ready. We have to be ready that will not hurt us, and we're strong enough to withstand it if we come together. Anyway, I'm
Well
saying the
said.
same thing now.
Well, we got to start wrapping up. So, a
Okay,
couple
Mel.
things I want to do as we finish up. One of the things, like I said, I'm going to be doing for the website is a little section called Bare Necessities, where I'll
Yes.
find some different items, places to go, and things to go that are kind of fun for our community. Um, I love your bear shirt you're wearing. I found this place called Hunky Tops
Yes.
that does an amazing apparel line. They do fantastic t-shirts for the bear community and for just a little bit of everybody. They do all communities, really. But their bear line is something that I'm excited about. I'm getting my first shirt delivered next week, so I'm excited about that. Anything fun and exciting for you that really makes you excited?
I mean, a lot of our, I guess, advertisers on the website. I mean, this is a Burley shirt. If you're familiar with Burley shirts, lovely Shane Ruff. If you're not familiar with Shane Ruff, he runs the markets at P-Town, both Spooky Bear and
Nice.
P-Town Bear Week. He makes a great line of fun stuff like this, and more sexy stuff if you want to, more leather based or other kinds of stuff. His range is fantastic. So love him for that. All the t-shirt, we work with so many different t-shirt companies, because people have different ideas and designs. So you can buy one from all of them, and it'll never be the same, which is great. So go and support us. Bearwell Magazine, come to your site, support your thing. I would say that's it. Dive into the community, we have a lot on Bearwell. And if you're looking for a t-shirt, click fashion, and you'll find all kinds of different brands that make clothing, from harness companies. I'm gonna forget names. Of course, I'm gonna forget names. Cockeye. If you like leather stuff, Cockeye do a lot of leather stuff. If you're familiar with that, he's in the Seattle area. He makes some great stuff, personalized leather harnesses and different things. Love him. I'm being cheeky, and my coffee mug is a Trevor Project coffee mug. So support Trevor Project and
I
anything
love
like that
that.
locally to you. I think the national charities will get help, but also find the local charities to you. What local community center, local trans charity, local LGBTQ law society that's helping. Give a couple of dollars to all of them because they will be so grateful for it. I think that's my pitch today. Support local businesses, support queer charities that are in your area, because they'll be thrilled, and it helps us all in
I agree with that 100%. In fact, it's one of my thoughts that I was going to do, and we'll probably talk about it for the next fourth Friday. But I would like to support and maybe make our own different coffee mug every month that you can
Oh,
buy to support a
great idea.
local charity. We'll find it from a local
That's a
purveyor or
phenomenal idea.
something, and have it. I'll buy one for each of us to kind of put up on there and everything, and
Okay,
it'll be kind of fun to do that way. But I'm excited to be doing this, Richard. I mean, it's so exciting to have Bear World be a partner
thank you.
and helping promote this every month. And I just think we're going to have a fun conversation talking about, we're
Definitely,
going to have different people on. We'll invite some of our friends
lovely,
on to talk to from time to time, be able to just celebrate our communities and maybe learn a little along the way. There's lots of stuff going on, so I don't mind some sharing some information. So I'm
lovely.
excited, my friend. Thank you
Me
so much for
too.
joining me.
Me too. It's got me up. It's got me get me nice coffee and got me ready for the day and the weekend.
There you go.
And I'm just going to quickly plug happy anniversary to my husband. It's our wedding anniversary tomorrow. So if he's listening, happy anniversary for tomorrow, my love.
Happy anniversary, John and Richard. I love that. Well, guys, I appreciate you all. That's it for our very first Fourth Friday Coffee Talk here.
Yay.
Thanks for spending your morning or your evening with us if you're watching us on tape here. I hope you enjoyed the chat. Be sure to like or comment and share with your friends. You can reach out at podcastbears@gmail.com if you want to let Richard and I know anything that's going on in your area. We'll
Yes.
be here on the fourth Friday of every month at 7 o'clock Pacific time and 10 o'clock Eastern time because I just don't always get up that early, to be honest.
I'm glad we're not.
So being the
I'm
East
glad we're
Coast
not in the
time,
Pacific. I wouldn't dare
it's
in the
kind of
Central
nice.
Pacific.
I enjoy it. Richard, I appreciate you. And again, you can jump into our comments and we will have this up for you, the live conversation up on Spotify and everything later this afternoon.
Lovely.
Thanks everyone for joining in. Richard, stay on the line. You guys all have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thank you,
Bye
Scott.
bye.